Good afternoon, everybody. Before my actual slides start, I would actually like to start with a video.
Important message. I think we have found the most important factor for success. And it was found close to here, Stanford. Psychology professor took kids that were 4 years old and put them in a room all by themselves. And he would tell the child, a 4-year-old kid, Johnny, I'm going to leave you here with a marshmallow for 15 minutes. If after I come back, this marshmallow is here, you will get another one. So you will have two.
Otros, en cambio, resistieron el impulso.
Okay, I'll be back.
I'll get away. I wonder what we're gonna do. Are we gonna eat it? If I want to eat something. But we're still not gonna get to. But if you wait until she gets back, she'll give you two. She still won't give you two because you ate it. So and I didn't eat a single bite of it. So don't show her, okay? No, you're eating, not waiting for her to get back. We still ate some of it, so she's still not gonna get the two. Let's stay in your chair.
Good job.
That child already at 4 understood the most important principle for success, which is the ability to delay gratification. Self-discipline, the most important factor for success. 15 years later, 14, 15 years later, follow-up study. What did they find? They went to look for these kids who were now 18 and 19, and they found that 100% of the children that had not eaten the marshmallow were successful. They had good grades, they were doing wonderful, they were happy, they had their plans, they had good relationships with the teachers, students, they were doing fine. A great percentage of the kids that ate the marshmallow, they were in trouble. They did not make it to the university, they had bad grades, some of them dropped out, a few were still there with bad grades, a few had good grades.
How'd you do?
Oh,
You did good.
hard. It was so hard.
You wanted to eat it, right? Well, I told you I'd give you another one. Now you have both.
So this is a very famous test. It's called a marshmallow test, and the question is, what does it have to do with investing, right? We'll come back to the video after we go through these slides. Your money life, okay? No pun intended. First 24 years, you spend money. You spend money of your parents, all right? From 24, for another 36 years, you're actually earning. For simplicity's sake, take 60. Again, from 60 onwards, if you're not in a self-employed professional, like a doctor, etc., which most of us are not, again, you're spending money. Which essentially means that a large part of your life, you're actually a spender. You're not an earner. As Sucheta explained, in our time there was no education loan. So we were not borrowing over that period. Now we have to repay even of that particular period from 24 years, 1 to 24. So the answer is very, very simple. It's so simple that in fact it seems like, what's the big deal about it? But believe me, as the marshmallow experiment shows, it's really, really hard to remember and practice consistently day after day. And that's this. You earn, obviously, try to earn as much as possible, which all of us want to change jobs and do better. But here the test starts. You need to spend less. You need to spend less so that you can save as early as possible and save as much as possible. These two things make such an enormous difference to both the time that you're earning as well as the time that you need the money, which is in the post-retirement period, that most of us don't do the numbers. If you do the financial calculations, it's really eye-popping how these two things make a difference. Have I missed anything? A fourth one? Sorry? Investing, yes. Just saving more and keeping in the bank is not going to help us because it doesn't beat inflation. Banks give you 8% post-tax, 8.25% post-tax. So that leaves you with just about 5% or so. It's not going to earn much for you. So you need to invest it very, very carefully. Now, as I said, it's very simple, but we don't do the numbers to see what kind of an enormous difference it can make. Take a look at this example. Suppose somebody called Rohan starts saving just about 5,000 per month, all right? That's about 60,000 per annum. And earns an average of 8.5%. We've kept things very simple just to illustrate the principles behind what I'm talking about. In first year, he has invested 60,000. He's got 8.5%, which is 5,100 is his income, so 65,100 is the terminal wealth at the end of the year one. Next year, he adds another 60, on which again he earns 8.5, and the figure goes to 1,35,000. If he does this over 20 years, in 20 years, 60,000, that is 12 lakhs is his principal investment. But his wealth is 19 lakhs. Which means, his income is 19 lakhs, which means his wealth is 31 lakhs. He's invested only 12, and the money has grown to 31, right? This is how it's going to look. One thing that immediately strikes you is very simple, is that in the beginning, it makes hardly any difference. You can hardly see that orange part barely going up. You keep investing year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nothing happens. And then the number starts dramatically shooting up. 80% of Warren Buffett's wealth, which is close to $70 billion, happened after age 55. He's compounding machine, a living compounding machine. This is exactly what has happened in his case. Of course, he was investing company money, so that's why the impact is so dramatic. First point, salary is not going to make you rich. You need to save more. Take the example of Rohan, who earns 50,000, and Vimal also 50,000. Rohan but spends 45, and Vimal spends 40. Okay, and that's very high according to me. The thumb rule is that you need to save at least 25% of your income. But even then, between these two, the first keeps only 5,000 in the bank and the second 10,000. Who has a better life? Obviously, Rohan has a far better life. He's spending more, right? That's the obvious answer. But who will have a far better life? There's no doubt about that, okay? The difference, though, we seem to underestimate. Is just simply double over a period of time. At a constant rate of income, I have not even gone into the area of investing as of now. Lesson 1, save as much as possible is the first step to becoming rich. Rich, wealthy, whatever you may describe. Example 2, Vimal earns 50,000 and Shalini earns also 50,000 rupees. The first guy spends 30, second person also, she's a woman, spends 30. Both of them keeping 20,000 in the bank. But the second person has started investing outside the bank, okay, now. So it's 20,000 rupees in mutual funds, equity mutual funds. Who has a better life? Both have a similar life. Who is going to have a far better life? There's no doubt about that. And the numbers, just to take a simple 12% compounding, the difference between 1 and 2 is huge. It's 50% more, all right? Now, I have just assumed 12%. A lot of people are going to tell you that, equities or long-term rate of return from equities is going to be 16% or 18% and so on. We have done the numbers. Those are really optimistic numbers. I've also taken the example of mutual funds, whereas normally there is 3% cost involved every year. So this itself is a 15% gross return, right? Lesson number 2, saving is not investing. This is very crucial because month after month after month, you're going to get a salary. The money is going to be credited to the bank. If you're not conscious, the money is going to remain in the bank. It's not going to move anywhere on its own. You have to take the step of creating a SIP or any other means of investing it correctly. Believe me, I have seen virtually everybody being lax on this score. So even if you save enough, your money is still lying in the bank, and this is the single biggest hurdle for people not to optimize their wealth, the money that they're earning, for which they're spending 10 hours a day. Example 3. Vimal invests for 20 years at 10,000 per month or 1,20,000 a year. He earns 10% per annum in this example. After 20 years, he's put in 24 lakhs and created a 75 lakh corpus. All right? This is an example. Now, somebody showed this chart to Rohan, the first guy, who spends 45,000 out of his 50. He thinks, let them invest now. I have a long way. I'm just at the beginning of my career. I'm earning well. Let me enjoy life and I will catch up with them. Can he do that? If he starts 5 years later and invests 50% more after 5 years, all right? Just taking a really powerful example of 50% more. And once you start spending 90% of your income, it's hardly likely that you're going to sort of ramp up your savings later. Rohan starts 5 years later than Vimal and invests 15,000 per month. That is, he's put in 27 lakhs, 3 lakhs more than Vimal. At 10%, both of them investing in the same products, for sake of assumption, both of them earn 10%, he's got 62.91 lakhs. He's got 50% more, but 17% less. He can't catch up so easily. As time goes by, if it's 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, it's going to be even more and more and more difficult for him to catch up with somebody who's a tortoise in investing. Start 10 years later, all right? Invest 150% more. Rahul starts 10 years later after Vimal and invests 2.5 times the amount, that is 25,000 or 3 lakhs per annum, which means he's put in 30 lakhs. 3 into 10. He's got, we've assumed 20 years of investing. 6 lakhs more than Vimal and 3 lakhs more than Rohan. He earns 52 lakhs, that is 16.4% less. Okay, so 10 years later, 150% more still doesn't help. Now, this is the best example of all, which really shows you the power of compounding. Rekha, girl, invests 20,000 per month or 2,40,000 a year. She earns, again, for the sake of simplicity, 10% income per annum. But she invests for just 7 years and then stops investing. Just the reverse of what Rahul would have done in the previous examples, while others are still investing for the next 13 years. She's got the highest amount of wealth, that's 84.99 lakhs. She saved the least and earned the most, because she's not only started early, but invested heavily early. Time is really working for her tremendously. So by the time comes in his early 30s, she can spend more of it if she wants to. Simply the reverse of what we are sort of lured to do by our surroundings. All of the examples put together is this. This is the picture. Lessons are very, very, very clear. Compounding works like this. In her case, first 7 years, no further investment. It's static. But this is a mini Warren Buffett. The wealth just kept on dramatically rising as years passed by. Savings equals smart spending. Essentially, you spend less, spend smartly, keep the money with you. It has nothing to do with income. There are lots of examples of college teacher, an average person leaving lakhs of rupees after their death. Why? Because they've really not wasted the money spending on all kinds of things. A man with 1 crore of income, however, you will find that he still has to borrow. We all know about Vijay Mallya. Because the issue is not income. It is really smart saving. Now, my simple tip, once you go out, start doing a job, you don't have enough money, don't blame the boss, look at the mirror. So remember the video that I showed. The lesson of that professor, there is a TED talk, you can check it out. There are lots of similar experiments, very funny, even funnier ones than this, is very, very simple. The lesson is delayed gratification. Postpone your pleasures. This is tough, but it is the secret of becoming wealthy for people who have a regular income, a salaried income, or something like that. Now, to repeat, to summarize, if there's any one slide from this entire presentation that you need to take away, it is this. Start saving as early as possible, save as much as possible. We have sort of tools in our website to check whether you're doing it enough or not. You can sort of go to savers.moneylife.in/tools. A simple login will let you take to this page. And avoid these products. We have 11 products which we have listed that you need to avoid. My simple conclusion, after 10 years of research in personal finance and 30 years of analyzing companies and balance sheets and looking at investors, closely knowing them, is that 90% of financial products sold to us fall into one of the two categories. Either they are harmful. If they're not harmful, they're irrelevant. You don't really need them. Okay? So something like an endowment plan of an insurance company is positively harmful because you're going to get only 3% or 4% per annum. So they're really destroying your money. Or they could be irrelevant because it's not a loss, but it just doesn't take you anywhere. We have put a list of these 11 products. You can just go in and check. And you need to invest in high return products, and there are not too many. And as students of finance or MBA, you know what these are. We also put up a free financial plan over there for anybody who wants to take a look at it. There's 6 points in it. It just gives you a compass wherever you are, no matter where you are and what you're doing. You don't need to go beyond that. Now, we've quickly moved on to one core issue, which is to invest, save regularly, invest and get a higher return. Investing principles are really, really simple if you don't confuse them by getting into all kinds of things. You need a few simple financial products and a time frame that gives your investment to work. There are two kinds of products, both depending on the kind of categorization you do. One, there are market-linked products and there are non-market-linked products. Number two, there are products which are for the short term and there are products which are for the long term. That's it, all right? So we are talking about higher return products, which essentially means equity mutual funds and stocks. There is no other product which can give you returns of this kind that you would get. These are all essentially very, very long-term products. When I say long-term products, it's important to understand what it is. Income tax categorizes long-term as 1 year. A lot of people talk about long-term as 3 years. Our research shows that if you were to invest in stocks, good quality stocks as well, and equity mutual funds, you have to have an investment horizon of at least 7 years to avoid disappointment. Okay, and of course there is no issue in terms of holding them. You're all very young. You have a lot of time on your side. It's only the surplus money that you will not need that you're investing in stocks and equity mutual funds. 15-20 years is not an issue for you at all. In every seminar that we have done of this kind, that is how to be safe and smart with your money, everywhere, whether it was in Bangalore, whether it's in Gurgaon, whether it's in Chennai, somebody or the other got up and said, we wish we had seen this program when we were young. And that day is today for you. You are young and you can take full advantage of this. Here is a live example how your money can grow over 20 years. 10 lakhs invested in a particular equity mutual fund in 1995 would have grown to 4.4 crore. That's a compounding rate of 21%. Even after taking into account 2.5% at that time, most of this period, of the mutual fund costs, right? During this time, there'd be a lot of occasions in a 20-year journey of somebody who would have invested in 1995 that he would have serious doubts whether he's done the right thing. If you look at that chart, because it is a steep linear scale, you're not able to see the fact that for the first 5 years or 7 years it did nothing for you. Then it went up, and then once again there's a period when it actually fell, all right? Then it sharply goes up once again, and then in 2008 it just collapses again. And you would wonder, what is this kind of product which makes me lose so much of money? This is, I don't need to tell you, you're all MBA students, this is the nature of equities, this is the nature of stocks. They go down a lot. Even the best stocks go down a lot. HDFC Bank lost 54% of its value in 2008, from January to October 2008. 54%. Subsequently, it went up 300%, right? That is the nature of these products. If you want high return, these are the risks that you have to learn to understand. Unfortunately, most people do not spend time to figure out what these declines mean and what these rises mean over a long period of time, which is why when we ask around who has actually got this return, this is really a telling lesson. This is how investors hurt themselves. Mutual fund investors just move in and out. They are too troubled by the fact that they fall quite a bit. So people who are holding for 3 years, at least 3 years, is only 35%. Those who are holding for at least 5 years is only 15%. And those who are holding for at least 10 years is just 5% of the total mutual fund universe. Now, mutual fund companies themselves say that you have to invest for the long term. This is a product that you need to explain. There are distributors, there are agents, there are, advisors. Nobody has been able to, or they don't do it the right way, but by and large, nobody has been able to drill it into the average investor that this is not the way to invest. That is, you hold it for only less than 3 years. That's 35% only for even 3 years, and we say 5 years or 7 years or more. So don't make this mistake. Your 10 lakh is not going to be 4.4 crore if you do this. Make sure that you hold it for the really long term. And there are solid economic reasons for holding stocks or holding mutual funds for the long term, and you probably know that. I'll sum up with the few products that you need, and I say that 90% of the products are either harmful or irrelevant. So what is good? What is all right? In the beginning of your career, probably some of you have education loan. Those who don't have, fantastic. There's no need to repay, so there's no burden on you. Beyond that, equity funds and stocks, home loan, wonderful product. We are against any kind of borrowing, but not against home loan because it gives you fantastic tax advantage. All of you will start earning a salary which will be taxable, and home loan is the only way that you could, on a post-tax basis, the returns really justify investing in that asset. But people take a home loan and buy a second asset. Well, that's dumb. I don't think that's the right thing to do, because once you've paid your home loan or once you have a surplus, start investing in equity mutual funds. You need a term insurance and no other kind of life insurance. All of the other products are either useless or positively harmful. And if you are not covered by health insurance plan of the company that you're joining, maybe you would like to have a health insurance at a younger age, you get a very good premium on your side. So that's about it. That's the only financial products that you would need. And while people look for these, they fall for other things. They fall for hot stocks, tips, expert advice, new ideas of all kinds of things. In all these areas, if you are indeed tempted, or if you really trust somebody who's trying to persuade you to invest in this, just tell yourself or your parents or girlfriend or wife or whatever, I'm investing in this and I'm willing to lose this money. Just tell it yourself and tell it loudly and tell it to somebody else, so that there is a check on what you're doing. Your money life, take a home loan, take full advantage of the tax benefits, save 25% of your income positively. That is, delay your gratification, invest in equity funds and stocks for the long term, buy an online term plan. They're really cheap. The difference between an online term plan and an offline term plan is maybe double, or 2.5 times or so. Buy a health insurance. You can forget about worrying or thinking about money and can focus on work and enjoy life. And finally, we have a tool called Financial Health Checkup. At any stage, if you have any worry, or if you think whether you're on the right track or not, please note down this, savers.moneylife.in/tools. If you just have to remember the first part, savers.moneylife.in/tools. All the tools are listed under that, and you should be fine. You should be able to get back your financial life on track very easily. This years and years and years of distilled research and experiences has gone behind this, of a team which I lead, but there are 4 or 5 other people also who are behind this, and we just wanted to share this with you over here. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, we'd love to answer. No questions?
So, Debashis, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah.
Right.
First of all, congratulations to you and Sucheta ma'am, for your whistleblowing news on NSE manipulation.
Oh, thank you.
One thing I would like to ask is, the Business Standard usually have case studies, and they mention financial planning for specific families. They, apart from what all insurance you had mentioned, they also have accidental insurance. So
personal accident, I should add, to mention it in our other programs. Personal accident is extremely cheap in India, very, very inexpensive, and a great product. So you need to have a personal accident plan as well, definitely.
Yeah. One more thing, they also have public provident funds.
Yeah.
What should be, what amount should be exposed to public provident fund? Usually, they are like for 15 years, and only after 7 years you can break that.
See, our sense is we've looked at all the products and the long-term returns, okay, which are called base rates in financial terminology. We feel that if you're holding something for 7 years or 15 years or so, equity-linked saving scheme of mutual funds are the best for you. All right, if you can hold something for 7 years, the worst return of ELSS scheme over 7 years has been higher than that of PPF. Worst. So even by chance you make the mistake of not choosing among the better ones, you just happen to choose among the worst, even then your return on a 7-year plus basis would be higher than that of PPF. So we recommend ELSS, not PPF.
Yeah, that's it. One question for Sucheta ma'am. Ma'am, Ma'am, I was actually working for last 2 years in a IT company, and I was having my provident fund over there. So it has been almost 1.5 years, and I have not yet received my provident fund. Whom should I catch? My employer or the provident fund people?
You have, because you come back to studying, you want your money back, right?
Yeah.
So I think you need to write to both your company and the Provident Fund. One of the things that we tell people is, these days the Right to Information Act works very well. So ensure that you write to them on a registered post, wait for 30 days, and file an RTI application saying what has happened. The other thing that we say is that go to the MGov site. It works very well under this government. So they do track it. And when it comes to financial products...
Public grievances portal.
Yeah, public grievances portal. That's MGov is the public grievances portal. You have to try everything that you can, but a combination of this, you will get results from one of them. So start today, send a letter, make sure it's by registered post, okay? Because when you're writing to a government office, they don't recognize couriers, there's no proof.
Exactly.
In fact, we've got an RTI reply from the Finance Ministry that even a speed post where the name of the person who's accepted it is there, they say they haven't received it. So registered is best. 30 days, file an RTI if you haven't heard from them. The minute you file an RTI, you usually get a reply. It works like this with the income tax also.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, I read your article on RBI coming under RTIs. That was really good.
The Sailesh Gandhi one?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, sir. Could you just explain the difference between a online term insurance and an offline term insurance?
They're actually the same. The insurance companies, for some reason, assume that anybody who is buying anything online is smarter. And because he's smarter, he's going to take better care of his health. And because he's going to take better care of his health, they offer him a lower premium. We have asked every single insurance company, why are online term plans half the cost of offline term plans? And this is the only explanation we have figured out. I don't know how long this is going to last. it's fairly silly. They all have to go actually by those actuary tables, the longevity tables which LIC has, which everybody uses. But for some reason, for online term plan, they have priced it at a significantly lower price. Other than that, there is absolutely no difference. Of course, the features of certain plans are not there at all in online, so the offline online are not comparable. But those that are, only the price is the difference. Thank you.